we're worried about here, mate.
Don't worry about
this is a great nation. And it'll be a great nation, but we've got to clean these idiots up, get rid of them. If they're going to murder people, no responsibility. And then what do? We reward them. We put them in a place where they're fed 3 good
what's
meals
really
a day.
interesting? No, what's really interesting
about... They have cable TV, they have a computer.
No, what's really interesting about the death penalty is the reason it's being abolished in so many countries is it just doesn't work. It doesn't serve as a deterrent.
It's a deterrent.
It does
not
not serve
question.
as a deterrent. Murder rates in the US.
But that's got nothing to do with whether it's a deterrent.
Murder rates in the US went through the roof up until the early 1990s.
That's got nothing to do with the death penalty.
Went through the roof.
It's got nothing to do with the death penalty.
If we had a
statistical bullshit.
It took a referendum tomorrow. The death penalty would be back.
Well, some people might like flogging too.
No, but what about a referendum?
Do you think flogging's okay?
No, we're not talking about flogging. We're talking about the death penalty.
Do you think flogging's okay?
What, with rapists?
Do you think flogging's okay? Peter, do you support public flogging?
I don't support public flogging, but Greg...
We've got a split on the right.
So,
We've got a split on the right.
Well, you're
Farris is now moderate. He doesn't support public flogging. Noel thinks public flogging is okay.
You're the left winger.
I believe any violent
You'd enjoy Saudi Arabia.
You're the hardline.
Violent criminals deserve the full force of the law, and if we could get the death penalty back in, that'd be fine by me.
Let's try and
Greg, you're a great
supporter
of Islam.
I
mean, the Muslims support the death penalty. Why don't you, Greg?
Let's move this debate.
They're your mates. Why don't you support that?
Let's move this debate on. Executions in countries like China. Are you concerned about those?
Why should we be concerned?
I don't live in China, so I don't know what goes on over there.
Are you concerned about human rights in other countries? I mean, for example, in China?
Well, I believe in human rights, but not the type of human rights that you believe in. Let them all
you believe
go
in human rights for some people.
Give them a slap on the wrist, a couple of
years
in a luxurious home, looking after them.
You believe in human rights for some people,
no,
but
Greg,
not for others.
What he believes
in human rights for everyone.
He believes in human rights for the victims.
But I don't believe.
That's the difference.
I don't believe that we should sort of pander to these people by setting them up. I mean, if we had rough jails where there was a bit of hard labour for these people to do things like that, I don't want to go and see them go back on bread and water.
What about
juvenile detention?
What about juvenile execution? Do you support
if you're old enough to murder and you murder a few people?
You support the death penalty being used, for example, in the Bolger case in the UK? Of course. 10-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Well, you've got to be over. You have to be 14 onwards. 14 onwards.
You support the death penalty for people as young as 14.
Yep.
You do.
If it's a case like that, the Bolger case, yes, of course.
But you do. So you support the death penalty for people under the age of 17,
you're such a fantastic.
I think it's a great thing. Community come up to me and say, "What a shocking sentence that was handed down." I say, which one is there's that many shocking ones? I say, which one
are there any sentences that we're not here to talk about sentences? Is there any time? Is there any time when you think a sentence? Have you ever congratulated courts on a sentence?
Yes. The Hudson one? What's the Hudson with the bloke and
CBD
killer?
Yeah, that's the name I was trying to think of.
The CBD killer?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Minimum 35 years,
that's
55
right. And
years.
they're the type of sentences.
But what do we get now?
You thought that was a good sentence?
Now? You've got people at Denya with 3 lots of 10. That's 10 years of life. Out by the time he's 50, ready to go again.
Let's go back to Hudson.
Yeah, go back
you think that was a good sentence?
Well, I don't think it's good. It could have been better. But that's why the DPP's taken it back to get him a bigger sentence.
But what would be the appropriate sentence?
Now, that would have happened years ago.
What would be the appropriate sentence in the case of Hudson? Hudson, we should tell our viewers, is a case where...
If we had the death penalty, the appropriate sentence
leaving aside, what would be the appropriate sentence?
Never to be released.
Never to be released.
Not even if he... Because the judge gave him the chance to get out because he pleaded guilty. Well, 200 people were witnesses. Why give him a bonus for that?
Well, so you don't.
But that's what your type of law says.
You don't. Well, he practices in this area too.
No, but doesn't mean I support the law.
Would you argue that for a client? If a client pleaded guilty, would you
say
what
I argue for the client and what I think is a part of a political discussion is quite different.
But would you argue?
I don't identify with my clients. I'm paid to do a job for them. You identify with them like when you do act for terrorists. You support the people. You believe in the people.
I'm a well-known supporter of Al
Qaeda. That's right.
Well-known supporter.
Exactly.
Well-known supporter.
Just let me write that down.
Well-known supporter.
Okay, look, we have to wind this up because unfortunately we're out of time.
I've enjoyed this, Noel.
That all right.
And Noel, thank you very much for coming in. We're very pleased to have had you.
Come back and talk about public floggings next
time. Well, let's do public
floggings. For the mongrels?
And I might come over on your side. We'll be
Okay, boys, we have to finish. And in a few minutes, we'll be back.